What happens when a love story the world once believed existed only on television suddenly appears in real life, quietly unfolding in the most ordinary place imaginable? Not on a red carpet, not on a drama set, but in the echoing halls of an airport. That was the question spreading across the internet after an unexpected moment involving Wang and Shen Yue began circulating online. A short video clip, a few photographs, just seconds of footage. And yet those few seconds were enough to send fans into a storm of disbelief, emotion, and endless speculation. Because in that quiet moment, something appeared that many people never expected to see. Wang and Shen Yue were walking through an airport together. But they were not alone. In Wang's arms was a small child, a baby boy. And suddenly, the world felt like it had paused. The airport itself was nothing extraordinary. Just another busy day filled with travelers moving quickly between gates, announcements echoing overhead, luggage wheels rolling across polished floors. The kind of place where strangers pass each other without a second glance. But when two of Asia's most recognizable stars appeared in the terminal, everything shifted. Witnesses later described the moment as surreal. There was no entourage creating a spectacle, no flashing lights, no dramatic entrance. Instead, Wang walked calmly through the terminal carrying the child carefully against a shoulder, while Shen Yue walked beside him, her expression soft, protective, and quietly attentive. The child, wrapped in a light blanket, rested peacefully in his father's arms. And the internet quickly noticed something else. The way Wang held the baby. Not awkwardly, not cautiously, but naturally, like someone who had done it 100 times before. Fans who watched the video repeatedly pointed out the small gestures that seemed to reveal an entire hidden story. The way he gently adjusted the blanket around the baby's shoulder. The way he instinctively supported the child's head while moving through the crowd. The way Shen Yue leaned closer whenever the baby stirred. None of it looked rehearsed. None of it looked staged. It looked like a family. For years, fans around the world had followed the on-screen chemistry between Wang and Shen Yue, especially after their unforgettable collaboration in the beloved drama Meteor Garden. Their performances created one of the most memorable romantic pairings in modern Asian television. Audiences everywhere became deeply invested in their dynamic, often referring to the pairing affectionately as a dream couple. But what began as fictional romance on television had always been surrounded by whispers, rumors, speculation. The kind of quiet curiosity that grows when fans notice subtle interactions during interviews, behind-the-scenes moments, or public appearances. Over the years, those rumors faded and resurfaced countless times. Neither Wang nor Shen Yue ever publicly confirmed a relationship beyond friendship and professional respect. Their careers continued to grow independently, each building a powerful presence within the entertainment industry. Yet the airport footage seemed to suggest something far more personal, something deeply real. In the video, Wang could be seen speaking softly to the child, his expression changing instantly when the baby made a small sound. Shen Yue leaned closer, smiling gently before reaching out to adjust the baby's hat. The interaction lasted only seconds, but those seconds felt intimate, unscripted, human. Travelers nearby reportedly began noticing the couple only after someone quietly recognized them. Phones appeared, recording discreetly from a distance. Within minutes, the images began spreading across social media platforms. And then came the explosion. Fans around the world reacted with disbelief. Some were emotional. Some were shocked. Some were simply overwhelmed by the possibility that the story they once watched on screen had quietly become real life. One fan wrote that the moment felt like watching the final episode of a love story that had continued long after the cameras stopped rolling. Another described the footage as the most unexpected plot twist imaginable. But beyond the speculation, what captivated viewers most was the atmosphere captured in those brief seconds. There was no performance, no dramatic reaction, just two people moving through a busy airport while caring for a child. At one point in the video, the baby stirred slightly, prompting Wang to stop walking for a moment. He gently rocked the child while Shen Yue stood close beside him, watching carefully. The gesture was small, almost invisible in the chaos of the terminal. But it carried a quiet tenderness that viewers could not ignore. Observers noted how naturally the two seemed to move together, coordinating every step without speaking. When Dylan adjusted the baby's position, Shen Yue instinctively shifted closer to shield the child from the surrounding crowd. It was the kind of silent teamwork that often exists only between people who share deep familiarity and perhaps deep love. As the video continued spreading online, millions of viewers began analyzing every frame. The baby's blanket, the protective way Shen Yue stood beside Dylan, the almost reflexive care both of them showed. Many fans admitted that what moved them most was not the possibility of a hidden relationship, but the emotional simplicity of the moment. Because for a few seconds, two global stars did not look like celebrities. They looked like parents. Parents navigating a busy airport with their child, trying to move quietly through the world without turning their private life into a public spectacle. Neither Dylan Wang nor Shen Yue has publicly addressed the footage yet. And perhaps that silence is intentional, because sometimes the most powerful stories are not told through statements or announcements. Sometimes they appear in fleeting moments captured unexpectedly by strangers. A quiet walk through an airport terminal, a father holding a child close, a mother walking beside them. And in those few seconds, the world glimpses something deeply human. A love story that may have begun on television, but might now be continuing far beyond the screen. And yet the story did not end in that airport corridor. In fact, for many fans, that brief and unexpected sighting felt less like a conclusion and more like the opening chapter of a story that had quietly unfolded far from the public eye for years. Because the more people studied the footage of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue walking calmly through the airport with a child, the more the moment seemed to carry layers that could not easily be explained. It was not simply the presence of a baby that captured attention. It was the atmosphere, the silence between them that seemed comfortable rather than awkward. The way they moved together through the crowd without needing to speak. The subtle rhythm of two people who appeared deeply familiar with each other's movements. Observers began pointing out another detail that quickly became the focus of online discussions. While Dylan Wang carried the child most of the time, there was a moment in the video where Shen Yue reached out and gently took the baby into her own arms. The exchange was seamless, almost automatic. Dylan adjusted the small blanket while she lifted the child, and the baby settled against her shoulder as if this routine had been repeated countless times before. There was no hesitation, no uncertainty, only the calm confidence of experience. The camera that captured the moment shook slightly as the person filming realized the significance of what they were witnessing. But even through the movement, one thing remained clear. The baby looked completely comfortable, protected, safe. For fans who had spent years watching Dylan Wang and Shen Yue build their careers, the image felt strangely emotional. Many remembered their first collaboration in the widely loved drama Meteor Garden, where their on-screen chemistry created one of the most unforgettable romantic pairings in modern Asian television. Back then, their relationship existed only within the boundaries of scripted storytelling, a fictional romance crafted for audiences. But standing in that airport terminal years later, the scene felt different. There was no script guiding their gestures, no director telling them where to stand or how to look at each other. Only real life unfolding quietly between flights and boarding announcements. Some witnesses later described how both actors seemed determined to keep a low profile. They walked at a steady pace, avoiding attention, focusing entirely on the child in their care. But the effort to remain unnoticed was almost impossible. Even when wearing simple travel clothing and hats pulled low, their presence was recognizable. Passengers began whispering. A few people discreetly took photos. Others simply watched in stunned silence, unsure whether what they were seeing was real. What struck many observers most deeply was Dylan Wang's demeanor. The actor known for his confident on-screen persona appeared softer in this setting. Protective, patient. At one point, when the baby made a faint sound, he immediately turned his attention toward Shen Yue and the child. His expression changed instantly, filled with concern and attentiveness. Shen Yue responded with a small, reassuring smile, gently rocking the baby until the child settled again. The interaction lasted only a few seconds. But for those watching, it felt revealing. It showed a side of their lives that the public had never truly seen. The quiet side. The private side. The part of life that rarely appears in interviews or press conferences. As the footage spread across social media platforms, reactions poured in from around the world. Some fans expressed disbelief, questioning whether the child could truly belong to them. Others simply reacted with joy, saying the moment felt like witnessing the continuation of a beloved love story. Many comments shared a similar sentiment. Even if the details remained unknown, the warmth of the scene was undeniable. It felt genuine. And perhaps that authenticity was the reason the clip resonated so deeply with viewers. In an industry often defined by carefully constructed public images, the sight of two celebrities navigating something as ordinary as traveling with a child felt refreshingly real. No dramatic reveal. No official announcement. Just a fleeting glimpse of a family moment. Meanwhile, those close to the entertainment industry noted how rare such moments are. Celebrities often go to extraordinary lengths to protect their private lives, especially when children are involved, which made the airport sighting feel even more extraordinary. Not because it was intended for the public, but because it wasn't. It was simply life happening naturally, captured accidentally by a passing camera. As the couple eventually moved toward their boarding gate, the crowd around them slowly returned to its usual rhythm. Travelers resumed their conversations. Flights continued departing. But the footage had already begun its journey across the internet. Within hours, millions had seen it. And millions more continued watching, replaying the moment when Wang gently held the child. The moment when Shen Yue took the baby into her arms. The moment when two of the most recognizable stars in Asian entertainment appeared for a brief and unforgettable instant, not as actors or celebrities, but simply as parents. And somewhere beyond the noise of speculation and headlines, one quiet truth remained. Some stories do not need confirmation. Some moments speak for themselves. A father holding a child, a mother walking beside them, and a fleeting glimpse of a life that may have been unfolding quietly all along.